Hey, 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 everybody. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Latoya Early, your vision coach, here to bring clarity, confidence, and expansion to the vision that God has given to you through coaching. Listen, I am also the founder of Chase Gray University. We are a niche certification company for Christian coaches where we help you align your life's purpose with your coaching message so that you can generate profit without compromising your kingdom assignment. So, I wanted to jump on today and talk with you about the different seasons of business. I shared something yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I talked about how you are not waiting on God, right? And this conversation came up because I was doing some work and preparing for some things, and I'm just like, man, Lord, I've been diligently doing what you've called me to do. I've been diligently working. I've been diligently seeking. I've been doing everything that I've been called to do in business. And I'm trying to figure out, why aren't I where, according to my vision plan, why aren't I there? Right. And so, of course, in that moment, you fall into this place where you're asking God, or you're saying, I'm waiting on God. I'm waiting on God. And God was like, he checked me real quick and was like, girl, you not waiting on me. He said, you are not waiting on me. You're waiting for your season to show up. You're waiting for the season. Here's the thing. And I it was just such a profound moment for me, because he showed me, you guys are familiar with the planting, the seed time and the harvest time, right? Over in Ecclesiastes, the book, it talks about there's a season for everything. And so I've been teaching about seasons in business for the longest time, right? Even in my personal life, I try to be aware of the different seasons I'm in my personal life, this different seasons I'm in my business. And so, but for this particular moment, it was just like such a eye-opening moment for me, because I began to question where I was instead of questioning what I needed to do so that I can learn, adjust, and pivot and shift and move into the next season, right? So, listen, for those of you who are just joining me, welcome to the room, welcome to the space. Make sure you come in and say hello in the comments. Make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you do me a favor and tag someone who could benefit from today's training. Make sure you share this broadcast. I want to talk about the different seasons of business, but I want to focus on one particular season. And some of you have heard me talk about the different seasons in business. And again, this conversation really came from me being in my office and I'm working, and I'm in this place where I'm like, okay, God, I'm waiting on you. And he's like, but you're not waiting on me, right? Over in Jeremiah, it talks about how we were intricately put together in our mother's womb, how everything we needed to become the exact thing that God called and created us to become, he's already put those things inside of us. And it's not necessarily that we're waiting on God. What we're doing is we're waiting for our season, right? I tell y'all, I use the example all the time of the apple tree. It's like my favorite analogy to use. And so when you go out and you plant an apple tree, it could take up to 8 to 10 years for this apple tree to mature and reach its greatest potential, right? And so I had to take that idea and apply it to my business, apply it to me, and say, okay, the guy had given me, he had planted these seeds in me far before I even knew that the seeds were planted, right? And so I want you to think about this for your business as well. Some of you were born to be an entrepreneur, some of you were born to be a coach, some of you chose it, right? Because you felt like that was the best decision. Maybe you felt like, you know, this is just something to do. Maybe you felt like this was the best way for you to generate income, but some of us were assigned to entrepreneurship, right? Like some of us were assigned to coaching. I believe I was assigned to entrepreneurship. I believe that entrepreneurship, business building is what I'm supposed to do. And I'm supposed to do that through coaching, right? And so that seed of entrepreneurship was planted way back when Jimmy Nickel and BM decided to do what they did to bring me here, right? To get me here. I believe that seed was planted there, right? And well, it's not, I do believe it because that's what the word says. The word tells us that we were intricately put together in our mother's womb. And so I was sitting in my desk and I'm working through some things. We got some stuff launching. And I'm like, Lord, this is supposed to be way further than where I am. And he said, I want you to understand that in every season, something amazing is happening on the inside of you, right? Going back to that apple tree, there's a season when that apple seed is being planted and the root of the apple tree is capturing the ground, right? It's like capturing the dirt. It's connecting to the earth, it's connecting to the rocks, it's connecting to the land and to the earth, right? So that's in our beginning stages of our businesses. And then you have when the stalk begins to grow, you have when the fruit begins to form, you have all of these different stages in your business. And so what we tend to do is we'll look at the reproduction of an apple seed and we'll think that's only benefiting or that only pertains to harvesting fruit. But what God has shown us, especially in Genesis, how he's given us the ability to do what? Be fruitful and multiply. So what am I getting at? It's not that you're waiting on God to show up in your business. God is waiting for you to learn, adjust, and pivot in that current season. If you are a farmer and you build and you plant apple trees, there's a certain process, there's a certain system, there's a certain routine that you have to have when it comes to tilling the ground, right? Preparing the soil, nurturing the soil, watering the soil. All of these things are important to the growth of the tree. Well, it's the same thing for us in business, right? It's the same concept for us in business. You don't believe me? Watch how this concept can be applied across the board. This is how babies are made, right? Babies are made first from a seed. This is how we eat. This is how you're able to eat your fruits and your vegetables, right? This is how materials are produced. Like everything starts in a seed form. And so when I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay, Lord, I'm waiting on you. And he checked me and said, nope, you're not waiting on me. You're waiting for your season to come. Because here's the thing, our time and God's time is not the same time, right? Our time and God's time is not the same time. And so when we stop looking at our time, we're trying to compare our time with God's time, then we'll start to see the manifestation of the season. Because let's be honest, when you go out and you plant your gardens, although you may see a bud in one season, the fullness of that tomato bush or vine may not reach its maturity for several seasons, right? For several seasons. Now, yes, we have instructions that can tell us, hey, this could take up to this amount of time to grow. This could take up to this amount of time to produce. But at the end of the day, it's not on our time. And so this is what I want you to consider in your business. If you're a coach, do me a favor in the comments. I want you to let me know that you're a coach. Let me know what type of coach you are. For those of you who are joining me, thank you so much for rocking out with me. I came on to do a very impromptu training because I'm in this space where understanding and recognizing the seasons that you're in business is what's going to give you the patience you need to endure where you currently are in business. So specifically for my coaches, when you think about the different seasons of business, and I've shared this with you guys before, there are 4 different seasons, right? There's a season of identity, there's a season of impact, there's a season of improvement, and then there's a season of increase. And so you want to identify what season are you in. Now, what makes these seasons so awesome is that these seasons change, right? They change, however, they're repetitive. The season is repetitive, but you shouldn't be repetitive in that season, right? The season is repetitive, but you shouldn't be repetitive in that season. What do I mean? Yes, we enter into the season of identity in cycles in our business because seasons repeat themselves. However, in your season of identity, you should be discovering something new. You should be learning something new about yourself. You should be learning something different about yourself. You should be learning something different about your business. You should be learning something different about the problem that you're called to solve. Now, the season of identity is all about you. It's about who are you, and what are you called to do in the lives of other people? What problem are you called to solve, right? In your season of identity, this is where you're discovering who you are. This is where you're changing your mindset about who you are. This is where you're gaining clarity of your coaching niche. I'll use me as an example. As when I'm in the season of identity, while I am very clear of my niche in coaching, I'm still in that season trying to figure out, what do I need to learn about Latoya, right? What layers do I need to pull back? Who do I need to forgive? What has the spirit of pride come into my business? Has the spirit of rejection crept back into my business? Have the spirit, like, I'm checking myself, right? Because I'm working on my identity so that as I show up in the marketplace, as I show up in the industry, I'm showing up authentic. I'm showing up with true transformation, and I'm showing up as a reflection of Christ, right? And so I wanted to share with you, for those of you, for my startup coaches, my aspiring coaches, and maybe even some of my growing coaches, if you aren't growing your business um in a niche specific area, I challenge you to take a moment, step back, and ask yourself, why not? Here's what I learned about niche coaching, right? We're talking about the different seasons of business, and I'm going to talk about each season individually, right? But for today, I'm just going to focus on the season of identity because that's where a lot of the startup and aspiring coaches are. You're in that season of identity, trying to figure out, who am I? Trying to figure out what problem am I called to solve? Trying to figure out who your client is, right? These are all in that season of identity. And so I want to share with you 3 things that I want you to do as if you're aspiring or a startup coach. And a startup coach is anyone who's making less than $9,000 per month in their coaching business. I want you to consider, what niche am I growing my coaching business in, and does this niche align with my life's purpose, with my life's assignment? Do they run simultaneous? When you identified your niche, how did you discover it? Did you go within to find it, or did you go to Google to find it? Did you take a test to find it? Did you hire a coach to find it? Like, how did you unlock your coaching niche? Because here's the thing, unlocking your coaching niche is going to do 5 major things, right? And this is all in the season of identity. It's going to, number one, is going to establish you as the expert. The more you drive content in a specific area solving a specific problem, this is when you're able to increase your level of your level of expertise. Number 2, it massively increases your online visibility. Why? Because if you're constantly pushing content and providing a solution in a particular area to a particular problem, it's going to increase your visibility because you're now weighing out the other coaches that are in your industry, right? So it increases. And when you're specific about your niche, right? Because let's be honest, we have a coach in our community right now. She's a self-coach, right? And so as specific as this niche is, she's serving solo women who are raising children with special needs. Do you see how specific that is? Right? And so what does that do? That's going to drive her visibility up, right? Number 3, so I got to remember what I said. It establishes your expertise. It increases your online visibility. What's the other one? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all what the other one is. because I forgot just that fast. It establishes your area of expertise. It increases your online visibility. It proves your coaching strategies and your results. When you're niche specific, right? When you are in the season of identity, you are unlocking your coaching niche. You're saying, Latoya, I want to know, and let me explain this to you. There's niche marketing, and then there's niche coaching, right? So when we talk about the niche, you need to be clear on what we're talking about. We're talking about a specific area. So when we talk about niche marketing, we're talking about a specific segment of people. When we're talking about niche coaching, we're talking about solving a specific problem. So when you are in your identity season, you should be focusing on the specific problem you're called to solve as a coach. Are you called to solve every problem for everyone? No, you are not. Are you capable of helping people and solve different problems in different areas? Yes. Right? Yes, because we're disciples of Christ. We can, with through him, all things are possible. But that doesn't mean that's what you're supposed to be doing. Right? We're talking about growing a kingdom driven coaching business where you're establishing yourself as the expert. So, number one, the reason why you need to niche down as a coach, number one, is because it establishes your expertise. I never asked you anything. Siri she a trip. She be in your business. Number one, it establishes your area of expertise. Number two, it increases your visibility. Number three, it proves your coaching strategies and results. Why? Because the more focused you are in solving a problem, the more knowledge and the more wisdom you gain. Right? And the more knowledge and the more wisdom you gain, the easier it is for you to serve and support the people that you're called to serve and support. This is why it's important as kingdom coaches, as Christian coaches, for us to get specific in the problem we're called to solve. Number four, it validates your price point. I'm encouraging coaches, listen, our price points need to start at a four-figure price point. Why? Because there's so many things that go into that price point. But as an expert, right? When you are seen as the expert, your ability to solve a specific problem, it validates that price point. Number five, it reflects the assignment God called you to fulfill through coaching. Your niche, the problem that you're called to solve, is a reflection of who you once were. One of the strategies or one of the tools that I use with the coaches is, who did you need when you needed you? Right? What did you need when you needed you? Because your ideal client isn't someone that you got to go out and develop market research on. Your ideal client, your future client, is who you want to work. And in order for you to learn the language that they need, in order for you to learn their experiences and be able to connect with them and be relatable through experiences, you have to be transparent in self. You have to be willing to pull back the layers. I was so confused when I first started my coaching business because I was trying to do it God's way, but I only had secular or worldly strategies. And I'm like, Lord, these secular strategies that I'm learning are contradicting what you've told me. It's a complete contradiction. Some of the marketing strategies that I was learning was a form of manipulation. It was a form of control. It was a form of bullying. And these are the strategies that I learned in the marketplace. Why? Because this is how the world told me to do it. And so I struggled with not only owning the assignment that God called me to in coaching, because y'all know I didn't want to show up and be a vision coach. So I struggled with owning the assignment. And then I struggled with implementing kingdom strategies so that I can get the results that I wanted to get. Right? And so we're talking about the season of identity. If you are a startup coach, if you are a growing coach, if you are a new coach, you just may be in that season of identity. And understand that in this season, in order for you to move into the next season of impact, you need to learn, you need to adjust, and you need to pivot in this current season so that you can get everything that God has for you. Now, the three things that I want you to do so that you can gain clarity on your coaching niche and how you can show up and show up as an established expert. Get your words out, Latoya. I want you to, number one, I want you to think about the problem that you've been called to solve, right? Number two, I want you to think about, how does that problem relate or connect to you? How we're not here to go out and find a problem. The problem we've already experienced. So I want you to identify, how does that connect to you? And then number three, what did you do to solve the problem in your own life? Because here's the thing, and it's so funny. The Bible I was just reading over in, was it Hebrew? I can't remember, but it was talking about the speck. How you gonna try to pull the, or is it, anyway, I don't remember where I read it, but how you gonna pull the log out of his eye? I'm sorry, how you gonna pull the speck out of your client's eye when you got a log in yours? You need to identify your logs. There's no way. Listen, let me tell y'all something. There is no way. Hey, JC, thank you so much for joining me. There's no way you can authentically coach somebody and help them pull the speck out of their eye when you have a log in your own. That's Bible, right? So if you're in that season of identity and you're trying to figure out your coaching niche, I've already shared with you why you need to niche down in your business. Niche coaching is kingdom coaching. Let me tell you why. Because it allows you to become laser focused on solving a particular problem. And what does it do? It draws you closer to Christ. Listen, I've done it. I've seen it. It's the story of my life, right? What did I do to solve the problem in my life? That's it. So that was step number two. What problem do you solve? That's step number one. Number two, how does that problem connect to you? Right? And then number three, I want you to share, what did you do to solve that problem? Jay, this is all I'm trying to tell people, right? And so this is what niche coaching is about. Yes, you're going to have to take a moment and do some self-examining. Yes, you're going to have to take a moment and say, what do I need to do for me so that I can better serve my client? So that I can show up and be what my client needs. What do I need to do? This is what happens in the season of identity, right? This is, and again, this whole topic came from, you are not waiting on God. You're not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. He's waiting for you to show up and do the work. He's waiting on you to learn, adjust, and pivot so that you can, with ease, walk into the next season. Let's think about it. I live in Michigan, and I'm almost done, y'all, because I'm not even supposed to be live right now. I live in Michigan, right? And so if we don't prepare for winter, like, you're gonna be mad. If you didn't go get your salt, if you didn't make sure your snowblower battery is charged, like, you're going to be mad, right? Why? Because now you're going to enter into a season that you don't qualify for and that you're not prepared for, right? And so now you want to make sure in your season of identity that you're preparing for the season of impact. You're preparing, you're qualified to impact the lives of other people. The last thing you want to do, and listen, imposter syndrome is real, right? But imposter syndrome is the enemy telling you that you're not good enough. Now, what you don't want to do is be a false prophet and go out and try to teach somebody else and train somebody else, and yet you're still broken and abused. That's a false teacher. That's what that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to walk into the season of impact trying to impact the lives of other people, but yet you haven't done the work. That's the season of identity. So this is why it takes a little longer, right? This is why it takes up to 8 to 10 years for a tree to reach its greatest, to reach its full potential, right? You didn't miss you. Well, a little bit. I'm done though. JC, thank you so much for joining me. Right? So you want to make sure that in every season of business, the season of identity, the season of impact, the season of improvement, and the season of increase, in every single season, you need to learn, adjust, and pivot, right? I got a class coming up. I have a class coming up on Tuesday. And I want you guys a part of it. It's called Unlock Your Niche. And it's a coaching class. I'm going to walk you through the steps of understanding and unlocking your coaching niche, but it's also going to help you understand your why in coaching. It's going to help you in your season of identity. So if you are a startup coach, if you're an aspiring coach, maybe you're a growing coach and you're really still trying to figure some stuff out. You've been able to close clients, but you're like, I'm missing something. Right? I'm missing something. Then you want to make sure that you join me in this course. The link is in the caption. It's a live course, and I'm going to teach you how to unlock your coaching niche. I'm going to help you get down to the root of why you've been called to coach so that you can be sure that your coaching message aligns with your life's purpose. Niche coaching is about learning how to solve a specific problem in the life of your client, right? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about niche coaching. We're going to talk about niche marketing. And we're going to help you really identify what type of coach you are. When we talk about the type of coach you are, we're talking about the niche. What problem do you solve? When you see people with a title, their title should explain what type of coach they are. That adjective should describe what type of coach they are. This is why I'm against layering that adjective. Like I'm a empowerment career coach, like that layering the layering the adjective can become confusing to the client. Why? Because your title is your first form of marketing. The first form of marketing. If you put your title out on social media and that's all you put out there, will people know who you are and what you do? What problem you solve? How are you going to help them? Does it make sense? Now, there are some niches where it may require a little explanation. We have a self coach here at Chase Gray University. We have a voice coach here at Chase Gray University. And yes, those will require their niche statement to follow. But when you see self coach, the problem I'm called to solve is self. When you see voice coach, the problem I'm called to solve is voice, right? Karen said, oh, let me bring it up so y'all can see it. Karen said, you say you can't impact if you need healing, but what if you're doing impact services and that you helps you heal and learn, etc. So that's a good question, Karen. Thank you so much for asking that. Here's the thing: even though your healing could be impactful, right? Your healing could be impactful, but that still requires a season of identity. So even though you're in the season of identity, you can still impact other people because you're doing your healing publicly, right? So it's still an impact. So it's not to say that it can't happen, right? But what I'm saying is that as an expert, as a coach who's establishing themselves as an expert, you want to make sure that before you show up and exchange profit for transformation, that you are in a space of healing. Now, here's the thing. This is what I want everyone to understand when we talk about these different seasons. If you are at a 3, then you need to coach 0 to 2, right? If you are at a 5, then you need to coach 0 to 4. Now, I'm not saying show up and be this finished product, but what I am saying that if you're going to coach people in trauma, if you're going to coach people in a specific area of trauma, make sure you're healed in that area. And if you're going to be impactful through your healing process, be transparent, right? So, Karen, I hope that helped. I hope that helped your question. Hopefully I got it correct. Hopefully I got it correct. So let me know if you have any more questions for me. Outside of that, I'm all set. I just wanted to jump on and talk about seasons. We're going to talk about impact. We're going to talk about improvement. We're going to talk about increase. What does those different seasons mean? Right? What does those different seasons mean? And let me say this too, Karen. This just kind of just dropped. Just because you are impacting people doesn't mean you're supposed to. And this isn't for you. This is something that just kind of dropped. Here's the thing. We have a lot of people wanting to impact people, but they're not ready. Right? Now, again, that's not to say that you can't be going through the healing process and your healing process is impactful. But there's a difference between someone who is just trying to be impactful but is not healing. right? There are some people who are trying to be impactful and it's not time to be impactful. They need to go back to identity. They need to go back into that healing season. They need to go back into that clarity season. So I wanted to say that because we have people on two different spectrums, three different spectrums. We have the person who have healed and they're now ready to impact. You have the person who's healing and their healing is being impactful. And then you have the person who should still be in their healing season, but yet they're trying to impact. So they're operating out of flesh instead of the Holy Spirit. Right. So I just wanted to share that with you because that kind of just came to me. And it was God, because it was him who wanted me to share that with you. But people bleed on people all the time. Right? People bleed on people all the time, and that's not good. Because even though you think that you're helping, you're actually hurting them because they are watching your patterns and your behaviors. And so this is why as kingdom coaches it's so important for us to do the work. It's so important for us to do the work. Because if we're not doing the work, we're projecting our false teaching, we're projecting our false living, we're projecting our false healing on our clients, and we're only teaching them that it's okay to wear a mask. And as kingdom coaches, it's our job to help them remove the masks so that they can get to their next level of greatness. Cool. Okay, so have a fantastic, fantastic day. Don't forget to click the link up in the caption. Join me for my live course. Join me for my live course on unlocking your niche. Karen, I see you saying, is that a good or a bad I would like to know. Let me know in the comments if that is a good or a bad because I want to know. Cool. All right. Have a wonderful day. Again, I encourage you to click the link in the caption. Join me for the class. Learn how to unlock your coaching niche so that you can generate profit without compromising your kingdom assignment. Learn how to establish yourself as the expert, right? Learn how to establish your, I'm telling you, experts, their visibility is different, right? They're seen differently, they're heard differently. Cool. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys later. Be blessed.